I started the recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Evolve Point. Why do I sound so sad? I gotta cheer up. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Evolve Point, your one-stop shop for Shadowverse news and reviews. I'm Ignideus. With me, as always, is my co-host Tonko.
Hello, everybody. I'm also sad because because I just survived my taxes, and oh boy, oh dear.
Yeah, it is tax season, everybody. Make sure to pay your taxes. I would never encourage tax evasion. Wink. Wink.
Wink.
I will say, as usual, as last week, Kaelan is not here today because he's off adventuring, looking for a deck that he can play that feels good, and he hasn't found it yet. So, GG.
GG, Kaelan. Miss you, babe.
All right. Well, if this is your first episode, I do have to do this introduction every week. I do Shadowverse content. I stream it. I cast it. And Tonko also streams Shadowverse. Yippee, that's us.
Yippee. I do mostly Portalcraft. Sometimes, very rarely, I'll do other stuff.
Dude,
like Mahjong.
You know, I just...
The Mahjong Soul collab came out with Blue Archive, and I will stream that.
Is that what you've been looking forward to the most recently?
I had to survive my taxes so I could live to see the collab, yes.
Well, it's certainly not playing Shadowverse because I don't know if you saw, but Jif put out a tier list video just now, and it's really funny where there's tier 1, there's tier 2, there's tier 3, and then tier 4. And in tier 4, so basically he puts like an icon of a card from the deck, but in tier 4 it's the entire Swordcraft class and the entire Portalcraft class.
Yeah, pretty much.
So as a Portalcraft guy, you're like, ooh, boy.
I would, to be fair, I would put Artifact at maybe tier 3.5. It's not that bad. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, other than waiting for the Mahjong Soul collab, we'll start the episode as we always do, talking about what we've been up to the past week. How you doing?
Ugh.
You sound so tired.
Dude, I've never felt so defeated in my life during my taxes this time.
Yeah.
I realized that I might have gotten a bit carried away last year with my purchases.
Did you like look at your expenses and was like, oh no?
Let's just say I barely had enough money to pay off my taxes from last year.
Jeez Louise, dude. That's
so
crazy.
Maybe perhaps I might have bought too many trading cards, maybe too much gacha. It could have been the anime figures, it could have been the Gundam kits.
So what you're saying is the VTuber model not happening anytime soon.
Tonko VTuber model win? Not for a while, that's for damn sure.
And you can blame the IRS.
Well, you can blame the me for buying literally anything else.
Well, for me, I've been playing a lot of Grand Blue Relink. That game is really good.
I have not had a catch to watch any of his streams because I don't want spoilers.
Yeah,
One of these days,
enough.
though. One of these days, I'll get into it. How are you liking it so far?
It's really good. It's literally Kingdom Hearts, but with Monster Hunter elements
Dude,
into it.
that's exactly what I thought about it too when I played the demo.
Yeah, I really like it. And the fact they put so much like what's the word? They put so much attention to detail into the game, where there's like a bunch of unlockable characters, right? And they're not technically story characters, but if you play story missions, each of them and each and every one of them will have unique lines for situations in the story mode, even though they're optional unlocks. It's really cool.
That's gonna be annoying when I play it because I'm someone that goes through like almost all the flavor text.
It's really, really cool. Like for example,
nice.
I unlocked Vasaraga first because he's my favorite. He's my favorite character in all of Grand Blue, and I was in the Snowy Mountain area. This is not a spoiler, don't worry. I was in the Snowy Mountain area, and he was like, "Get behind me! I'll like mitigate some of the wind." And something like that. I was like, "That's so." It's so cool. Like every character has unique dialogue for the situation, even though it's completely unnecessary, but it just shows the care they put into the game, you know. So I like that.
I would hope they put care into it, considering it was in development for like what 9 years.
Yeah, like 8 years, I think. And it's not even that because like the game had to restart development like halfway through. It did a Metroid Prime 4, so it pulled one of those. Rip. I also went.
Originally, they were developing it with Platinum Games, and then they just something happened, and I assume they had to restart from the ground up.
Yeah, game development's hard. It turns out lots of things can happen. Lots of things can happen. So, I mean, I'm just glad we finally got it, and it's good. So, honestly, could have pulled a Duke Nukem or whatever and been bad after 10 years of development, but they fixed it. They figured it out and they put out a good product, so I'm happy about it.
It's actually surreal to me that's even real.
I know,
because
right?
I was seeing trailers of this thing back in not high school, but like early college. Way back in the day. Oh my god, it's been almost 10 years since I went to college.
Sudden realization. No, they really are Kingdom Hearts. They're copying the same trailer schedule too, where they release a trailer a decade before the game comes out. So there you go. Speaking of which, Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer was released 2 years ago. So here we go again, boys. I'm here for another 8 years of waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4 news.
I actually forgot that was a thing. Wait, wasn't that the trailer that had Sora's bare feet?
Yeah, it had Sora's feet in it. And he had normal sized feet, shocking everybody. Anyway, other than that, I've also played a lot of Shadowverse Evolved recently. The JP version. I went to a store. I played Galmu for the first time. And I did not so great. I won 1 and lost 2. I chalk it down to me not knowing much about the JP meta, and also me not finding Galmu in time, even though there's 7 tutors for it. What's up with that? I don't know. Ask someone else.
What does Galmu do in Evolve exactly?
Do you remember unnerfed original Galmu?
Yeah.
She does that.
Oh, yeah. Not even once per turn?
Nope.
Nice.
Oh, but it's not follower and leader. It's you have to pick. So it's like, but it's
that's fair.
It's really, really good. Yeah. Anyway,
it's
good if you can get her on time. So
of course, naturally.
Yeah.
Some of the Omen bosses some of the Omen decks are completely different. Like Swordcraft, was it Usurpation or whatever they call it?
She steals stuff now instead of like from the graveyard and stuff.
Yeah, she mills the opponent's deck and then uses their graveyard as a toolbox or something, which sounds like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any good, but it actually makes Swordcraft sound fun.
Well, that's the thing. Like, pretty much every class gets fun stuff in Set 5, so I just cannot wait for that to come out in English soon. We just now got Set 4. Yeah, it's like 2 months. It's like whatever.
I almost forgot about Set 4 because I still don't have my boxes in.
Soon, dude. You'll get it, don't worry.
Soon.
I will say though, even though in Set 5 we get all the omens, they get really good support in a further future set after that. I think I don't remember, 7 or 8. So I think 7 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
they get further support later, and that's when they get really, like, for example, Galmu gets this card that banishes itself from grave to ping Galmu for 0 cost, and like that's really good. So, and without that, Galmu feels a little less good because you play it on like 6 at the earliest, right? So whereas with that, you can play it on 5. So
yeah. So far, Shadowverse Evolved seems like it does a pretty good job of supporting old archetypes. I was looking at some of the new Arcana cards, and I saw a couple of them put stuff from deck into EX area, and I was like, oh, adder support, egg support.
We're back. We're so back. Yeah,
some things never change.
And like Levitine's good now. Finally, after all these years.
Oh, finally. Did I ever tell you about how when dual mode first got revealed, I watched Levitine get bought out in real time. I was trying to go through TCG Player because Levitine base form was only about $2 or $3, and someone bought them all out. He bought most of the copies within the first 10 minutes. It was really annoying because I just needed one more copy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Levitine is like so good. Like, it's ridiculous now.
At that point, I pretty much gave up. I'll just buy the SL. And that was the SL Levitine that I bent on accident.
Yeah, I saw it.
The day between I bent trying to get it off a perfect fit sleeve. I hate those things. I hate
tragic.
those things.
That's tragic, bro. Anyway, I guess let's go to the news unless you have something else that you've been doing.
I guess since we're not going to talk about actual Shadowverse in the main topic today, I have been playing Mono Blood.
Oh yeah?
And Mono Blood good. Mono Blood actually really good. It feels really bad though when you don't draw any early game evolves, and if you draw all your invokes.
Yeah.
Which,
what else is new, right?
I don't know how much of my mono stream you caught, but pretty much every single game I drew into 2 invokes.
Yeah.
And
tragic.
Even when I was playing off stream, almost every game I still draw at least 1 invoke every single time. Classic.
Yeah. It is what it is, and we'll talk about the meta a little bit in the esports section. But it's grim. It's grim. All right. Well, let's jump into the news. It's a light news week because there's really nothing going on. First of all, Heroes Rotation Cup is still happening. The finals is on until the 18th. So if you qualified, go get them. You get the Evolved Attempt cosmetics. If you like feats, there you go. Pog you.
I don't like feet, but I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Atem high.
You know, I kind of enjoy the quiet but very real acknowledgement that content creators have around feet guys, because they blur like feet in their videos and stuff without mentioning it. And I think that's so funny. But there you go. Anyway,
sometimes you'll see people blur out armpits. I'm like, why you gotta target me? I did nothing wrong.
That's just you, dude. Well, also, Kaelan a few weeks ago mentioned that he can't maximize Shadowverse for some reason, and they fixed that. Window maximizing bug fixed. Nice who.
I never use window mode, but then I realized, I use dual monitor setup. So
yeah, true.
If you had like a laptop where you only have 1 screen, and then I can understand that. Yeah,
that's tragic.
Actually, on the matter of window gaming, have you ever tried playing Shadowverse with the window as tiny as possible?
Why would I do that?
You can actually make Shadowverse as small as an ant and try to play it like that. And I actually thought about doing a video about that back in the day.
Challenge stream.
There's an
Shadowverse, but for ants. That would be fun. Maybe I'll do that now that you told me that. That's some fun idea. You gotta make some fun in this meta that we're in, dude. You gotta make your own fun. Anyway.
Fine, we'll do it ourselves.
Literally right before recording this, they also released that they're updating the game on April 23rd. Couple of things. 1, Rat Magician no longer gives bonus vials. I did not know that was a thing.
He has bonus vials? What? I thought he was considered a buff, not a nerf.
I thought it was a side grade, but no, they actually did give out bonus vials for that. So
okay.
I did not know that.
Make sure to vial your Rat Magician, boys.
Also, new story mode, Whispers of Purgation Last Words Part 2. And if you clear Chapter 25, you get 3 Heroes of Shadowverse packs until May 19th, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So, if you're like me and you just need the packs so you can get the alt art, whatever, then just skip. But you can also play the story normally. From Kaelan's review, it's actually good. So,
if you need to, you have 5 or 6 days left to skip Gang Andy, the first part of the new story, because those 3 packs are going to expire soon.
Yeah, that's true as well. All right, that's literally all the news. You see what we mean by it. There's nothing to talk about this
week. So they did show the updates, but there is no there's no confirmation that they're going to change cards. But do not be alarmed. Do not be scared, guys, because just because they announced a patch update doesn't mean there's not going to be any card balance changes, because usually they reveal those a day or 2 before the actual patch.
No, so I hear you.
There's still some hope, but
but it just is bad. It's bad vibes when you see that we're updating the game. By the way, we're not announcing any changes yet. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, but I have a bad feeling.
Well, it might be also because the Rotation Cup is still happening, so they don't want to announce it yet. I don't know. That could be a thing. But there's still hope.
Yeah, typically balance patches will come out, at least the first balance patch will balance patch of an expansion would come out at the end after the first Grand Prix. Usually, kinda, sometimes, I don't know.
Well, I mean, regardless, it would be nicer if they were more clear in their communique, because it feels like it's just like, yeah, I remember last patch, this specific pattern, and hopefully it follows that pattern now. And it's like, why don't they just tell us? Is what I would like to say. Yeah,
it would be nice to have a roadmap or something to be a bit more clear ahead of time.
Or like a schedule, or even just like in this patch notes say, oh, we're going to announce changes or no changes in a few days. Like just one line that says that'd be nice, so we know if it's coming or not.
And then when they don't have that line, then you know we're screwed. But at least let me know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, esports JCG online circuit is happening as usual. On the 10th, the winner was Heal Haven and Wrath Blood. Heal Haven, yippee! Fiona must be very happy.
Haven. Heals good, man. I've been seeing quite a big uptick of Haven players on ladder. In fact, actually,
oh yeah, you know why? It's because Lina got popular recently.
Yeah,
because they just spam heal. They're doing the same thing as Machina Shadow does. They just spam heals and try to win with inevitability. But
I mean, that's an idea, but the Wrath player would just high roll you anyway.
No, that's true.
So it was weird because when I was on ladder and when I was playing Grand Prix, I barely saw any Wraths. There were so many people trying to play Wrath quote unquote counters that I didn't see many more Wrath players left, which was pretty annoying because I've been trading for weeks how to counter Wrath. So then I had to worry about fighting these jobber decks that I'm apparently bad against.
Yeah, rip. I mean, that's just bad luck, dude. Like, believe you me, there is Wrath on the ladder and in the GP. You just did not run into him.
You know, the other day, I did have to force myself to play Wrath just to qualify for Group A for the first round. And after playing Wrath for myself, I realized that all those Wrath players getting Wrath on turn 3 and also having Chimera and also have Rondo for draws, those are high-rolling bastards. Because when I was playing Wrath, it was real bad. My draws were so bad.
You just get Fear Disciple only? And then
I get my Wraths, and then like, now what do I do? Where do I go from here? I got no draws. I don't have Chimera. I can't close game.
Tonko.
Is this what Wrath is actually like? It's just everybody has been getting super lucky against me, or am I just bad?
Well, I mean, like, with a big enough sample size, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like, I climbed to Wrath for like several thousand points, and I had games like you're describing, but I also had normal high rolly games as well. I think maybe you're just unlucky right now, Tonko. Don't go outside, you might get struck by lightning or something.
Oh, dude, I was so unlucky. I was so unlucky that week because it wasn't just Wrath. I tried playing Artifact, I couldn't do anything, which I mean is Artifact to be fair. But I tried playing Necromancy Shadow, which has been my favorite deck of the expansion, and I got Minth every game, but then I had nothing else. I was always 1 damage off. I was so unlucky throughout that entire week.
Big sad.
Maybe that was just an omen. Maybe that was just life telling me to stop playing Shadowverse and get my taxes done at the time.
Do you feel better now that you've done your taxes?
No, I feel terrible.
Well, that was the 10th. We also got the 12th, where guess what? Machina Shadow and Wrath won. So yippee.
Yippee.
And then on the 14th, Machina Shadow and Wrath won again.
Yippee.
Get me out. Set me free.
Oh boy, now that I'm done with my taxes, I can go back to playing Wrath meta forever. Yippee.
Well, you know that thing that people were saying right before the expansion came out, where they were like, oh, it's good that the power level is high. Just one last hurrah for the game. Well, that's fine if they're all equally high, but it's not the case.
Were people saying that? Or... Well, am I misremembering? Is that what people said?
Yeah, people said it.
Was that you? Did you say that? I
said it. Chris said it.
You did this. You guys did this.
Well, I mean, listen. in my opinion, I was like, everything will be equally good. That's the dream. I did not realize that only 2 things would be good.
Yeah, as much as I like everything to be on par to go out with the last hurrah, Protocraft has nothing to play with, and the last good Protocraft deck was Evo Shin.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even that good.
Pretty tragic, dude. Anyway, in other news in esports, reminder that the SVO Mini for April is very soon, April 20th. You can get physical prizes. We already got a few people who received their Luna pillows from this year. Rave reviews. They're like best prize. So nice. There you go. You too can win that if you want.
April 20th, the funny day.
Yeah, they announced it on April Fool's, and I thought, is this a joke? And then the next day they were like, oh, actually,
no,
it's for real. If you guys didn't know, it's 5 rounds you play, and if you win all 5, you're guaranteed. And if you play all 5, you enter the raffle to maybe get the prize as well. So no harm in doing it, and it's good practice. So there you go. Next.
There's what was it? What was the mat that they're giving away to? Latica mat. The Latica mat looks really good.
Yeah, Latica mat, Luna pillow, some swag, some drip as well. It's honestly really good merch, and I wish they would just sell it so I could buy it.
Same, honestly, yeah. I know it deflates the value of it being a prize, but man, I would buy most of these things if I could.
No, legit, right?
Oh wait, no, I can't because I have no more money.
Yeah, you're destitute now. Rip, bro. Well, time to farm primes. That's how you do it.
Farm gaming.
Also, we got a community tournament by Alfie from Team Manasurge. The Shadowverse Monthly Cup happening April 26th, so you can sign up for that too. But honestly, if you don't want to sign up for any of these, JCG, SVO, or whatever, I don't blame you. It's pretty bad right now.
I mean, yeah, the prices are really nice, but then you have to play Shadowverse, man.
Yeah, in this meta, I don't know if I could do it. Like, now that I got GM, I'm just goofing off, and it's been fine. But, like, it's still annoying when they roll random Chimera on turn 3, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Top left.
I have not even reached GM yet.
You're pretty close though now.
I'm close. I'm at like 8K.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna make it, but
just lock in.
Just lock in, forehead.
Simply dial in one day and get it. I got from 7K to 10K in under 24 hours. That's because I was playing Wrath, so that was easy.
I don't know if I want to make the step towards climbing with Wrath. Yeah, I brick with mono too, but it doesn't feel as bad as bricking with Wrath because I feel like when I brick with Wrath, I feel like, why does this only happen to me?
Well, I feel like this is maybe just a mentality thing that I have, but when I play the best deck and I lose with it, I'm like, damn, I'm ass.
Yeah. Actual skill issue.
You know? But I overcame that complex and I just buckled down and did it. And even if I lost, I'd be like, okay, I lost 1, I'll win the next 6, and then I did. And it's like, yeah, that's how you do it.
Usually how it works.
Yeah. Anyway, that's esports. Yippee!
Yeah.
Evolve news. Cosmic Mythos launched just 5 days ago on April 12th. So if you want to build, PDK Dragon, you can. But if you really want to meta the whole thing, you can build Egg Haven with Andromeda in it to not take any damage from your own eggs. That's pretty messed up.
Since the set came out, but I don't have it yet, I haven't checked the prices for this set. Is there anything super duper, like, hugely valuable, like an Olivia or something in this set?
Honestly, not really. I feel like recently I've been hearing more news of things plummeting, like nobody caring about Zodiac Demon or Gawain at all. Rip Sword Bros, but
typically, so the pattern I've seen with Shadowverse Evolve, this is similar. A lot of games are like this actually, where on release, a lot of cards will go down because more boxes are getting cracked open, because it just came out.
It's just supply and demand, baby.
As that supply dwindles because there's not as many boxes, then stuff will shoot up like Leviatine did. There's a lot of cards in set 3 that were really super cheap. In set 3, when set 3 first came out, the only really good card was Alice. The 2 Alices and maybe Mr. Fencer Man. But then a bunch of other stuff went up over time.
I mean, the good
So right
news for
now-
set 4 is that some of the best cards are golds, right? Like PDK,
Yeah, like
and
Funny
King,
Elephant Man.
King Elephant, Andromeda.
Wait. PDK is gold?
Yeah, PDK is a gold.
Okay.
King Elephant, Andromeda. So like they're pretty cheap. Just buy it. It's a good day to buy singles if you're in a Shadowverse Evolved. So go for it.
Isra Feel is $20. Does anything besides Dragon play Isra Feel
No.
though? Oh. Why is it always Dragon? Like
Well, I mean, it's just like the digital game, you know. Dragon gets the
Yeah.
high cost neutrals. That's how it is, dude.
Yeah, it's just such a shame that Dragon gets price gouged so hard because of the neutrals. Like Olivia is only played in Dragon as far as I can tell as well.
Yeah, but you know, you don't need them. That's the thing, because Sybil is not that expensive. I don't think. No, we can check. And Sybil
Wait,
is
did
really
Sybil
good.
also come out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sybil came out this set. It's only It's like $4, $4.50. She's so good. So you got that.
Also,
And-
reminder that this is a set that has the Code Geass collab. So there's alt arts of Ektar with Mr. the Doucheman, and there's an alt art of Cassiopeia with the CC woman. So
there's
yeah.
also an alt art of Sybil as Kaelan. Which I have. So
Nice.
I'm gonna be building that. There's 2 decks that I'm eyeing for Evolve right now with the new set. There's obviously just discard, but I put Sybil in it. That's pretty good. And then there's the more spicy tech of PDK, where I just spam guys, and PDK is really annoying to kill because it has 5 health. So good luck with your 4 damage Mock Knight, loser. PDK is gonna still be alive, baby.
The only thing I might build, I think, is Chimera, and Chimera's only like $5 right now. Nice. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
dude, it's-
Ginger came out.
It's a pretty cheap set, honestly, in terms of singles. Like if you're gonna build a deck with any of the new cards, I would just buy singles for this one. So yeah.
But like, if you're going to, probably do them sometime soon before they go back up. Because if everybody buys singles, Igni, you realize that as a podcast, we might very well be influencing the Shadowverse Evolved secondary market.
Does this count as
Totally.
like stock stuff? Do I have to say this is not financial advice? And
This
stuff
is
like
not financial advice.
that? Anyway,
Ginger comes out this set. I have some memes for her, I think.
I have no what's the word? I have no skin in the game of the market because I have all the singles I wanted, so I got them all already.
Actually, Igni, I'm not buying cards until I open my boxes, so don't publish this episode until... No, I'm kidding.
Everybody buy out the card so Tonko can't buy them.
Specifically, buy out the Chimeras just to spite me.
I have Chimeras, by the way. I have them. I got them too.
Nice.
I got Dark John, Ether, Chimera, Israfil, PDK,
And-
Kaelan, bunch of other stuff.
You have Ultimate Cassiopeia.
Yeah, from my box opening. That's just lucky, dude. Dude, my
Nice.
boxes and Chris's boxes are insane. I got Ultimate Cast. He got SP Lelouch. What the hell, dude?
Oh. and yet, Igni, you were just complaining that, oh, I don't like buying boxes anymore because of your JP boxes.
Well, those boxes that I got the good stuff from, they were provided. So,
Yeah, true.
yeah, the thing still stands. I'm not buying JP boxes anymore.
Do
But
they make the boxes in your favor?
dude, I asked that. I legit asked that because multiple times in a row we had insane boxes, so I legit asked.
Yeah, you guys always pull something good, it seems like.
I legit asked, and they're like, "No, legit, it's random. You keep
Yeah,
you keep ruining this," and I'm like, "That's sick."
They have no power over that, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. We actually just get lucky. That's so funny.
Just be good.
Anyway, speaking of not buying boxes, like I decided not to buy JP boxes because I've decided to only play Dragon and JP. So buying boxes is a waste of money. But
Yeah,
but set 5 coming out for English, and that's got the serial numbers and stuff. I might actually drop the money for a case for that. Being honest.
I was gonna buy a case depending on how much money I had left.
You mean after taxes?
We'll see.
that?
We'll see about that.
How's that looking? All right. Well, also in Shadowverse Evolved news, BSF Mexico, April 13 and 14. The deck lists are up, I think. So you can go check that out. And clarification from last episode. Citation needed, but somebody in the comments was like, yeah, Kagwas didn't have a Shadowverse Evolve event, which is why you couldn't see the deck list. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was for Vanguard only, so pretty much, and like other bushy games. So yeah,
That makes sense.
Anyway, that's all the news. You can see what we mean by it's a slow news day. Now we get to talk about the anime. Yippee! All right, Tanko. So over the past week since the last episode, I watched the second quarter of the Shadowverse Season 1 anime. I am now halfway through the entire season. Oh, no.
Oh, no. You want to do a scuffed summary?
Okay, let me summarize the entire show, okay? And you tell me how accurate I am. So, after season 1, where Hiro and friends qualified to the World Tournament after performing well at Nationals, they find themselves on Genesis Island, aka not Duelist Kingdom, where CEO Shadowverse Leon Orange is holding this grand worldwide tournament. So Hiro and friends are just fighting other players to qualify to top cut. But then suddenly Leon's like, I actually hate all these people. I'm sending out the Shadow Knights. And then the Shadow Knights are like genetically modified child soldiers from Genesis Corp that were raised to save the world through Shadowverse. And they eliminate a bunch of the gold ranking players in the tournament. And then Hiro and friends ended up winning. And they go to the central tower and they were like, hey, Leon, what's up with that Shadow Knight stuff, bro? That's messed up. And he was like, well, listen, I know that this entire season, and this is literally a plot drop over the course of one episode. Usually there's more of a lead into these kinds of things, but not in Shadowverse. He goes, well, you know how this entire show has just been about playing card games with your friends? Actually, you need to play Shadowverse to save the world because there's a giant constellation called the Tree of Woe, and it's going to destroy mankind. And you have to destroy it using Shadowverse. And all the protagonists are just like, oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, it's like, oh, yeah. By the way, the world has been ending this entire time.
Yeah. And all the protagonists, who, by the way, are middle school children, are like, oh, yeah. Okay. And that's where the season ends. Or the core, rather. So, what's my verdict? Is it good? Is it bad? It's pretty bad.
It is. It's still pretty bad, but
I will say one thing: it's less boring than the first core. I feel like
they actually try to do some interesting stuff in this in this quarter.
I feel like literally nothing happened in the first quarter.
Well, to be fair, the first quarter, the first quarter was specifically there to introduce the characters and the class mechanics and stuff, which is okay for the first couple episodes to be slow, but they do ramp up the plots in this quarter, but the plot only actually starts getting ramped, so to speak, in the last couple episodes because most of this quarter is still filler.
Yeah, it's literally like 10 episodes of battles.
Oh, Igni, break down. Just real quick, tell me about each battle, because even I don't exactly remember all the fights this quarter.
Dude, this is the hardest challenge you've ever given me.
Do you remember each character that
Yes,
Hiro
I do.
fought?
I remember every single one. Let's go. Okay. So, first battle. Hiro fights Marcel Tabeoka, who is a French chef who
My
loves...
name's Chef.
He's my name, Chef. And his whole shtick is that he loves food, but he hasn't had inspiration for cooking lately. So he decided to play Shadowverse, which gave him inspiration, and he plays an anime-exclusive archetype where he buffs and debuffs using appetizing and unappetizing dishes. And Hiro beats
carrots.
Hiro beats him by using a custom card that isn't in any version of the game. And I was like, well, that's dumb. He plays Hungry Dragon, and it's not in Digital, it's not in Evolve, it's not even in Champions Battle, and he just wins with a custom card.
Wait, so I remember Hungry Dragon, but what did it what did it even do? Because it was one of those extremely specific cards. Specifically
Whenever
for,
you buff or debuff, it goes to Hungry Dragon instead, and instead of debuffing, it buffs it again. It's literally just a card to counter the appetizer dishes from Marcel.
There's actually several cards like that in this season.
Yeah,
in this
there is one more as well.
Where Hero just plays a card for no reason that's just there to get him out of this very specific situation.
Yep, he does it against Mauro too. He plays Dragon Ruin, I believe, and it's just like, oh, this is exact lethal. And it's a card that doesn't exist in any version of Shadowverse, but I have it. It's like, okay.
One of my favorite moments in the entire season is, or rather, one of my favorite fights, ironically favorite, it's that one fight against Miss Shadow Knight, the hot one.
Yeah.
Where her whole deck is that she plays that one Shadow Amulet. Not Shadow.
Well, that's what all the
Craft,
Shadow Knights do. They play the amulet that gives non-effect stuff, Storm.
Yeah, it's specific. It's a deck that makes all vanilla cards into storms, and it's so funny. But there's two moments in that fight. One, Miss Shadow Knight, she has an actual name, but I don't think they give her an actual name in this season, though. So she has Tyrant. She plays Deathly Tyrant, which is one of the most. Yeah, it's one of the most iconic cards in all of classic Shadowverse. You Necromancy 20, get 13/13 Storm. She trades it.
I know.
She trades the Storm into Ignis Dragon.
I know. I mean, to be fair, if she didn't, Ignis Dragon was going to hit her in the face, but you would think that she would have, like, some sort of removal or something instead.
Like, if you're going to show Deathly Tyrant, at least show Deathly Tyrant doing the thing that he's known to do. 13 to face.
Yeah, I know. There's quite a few moments. Although I will say there are a few moments as a Shadowverse fan where a card came out and I'm like, that's sick. I love that.
But before we move forward from this fight, do you remember exactly how Hero won this matchup?
What? The Marcel Tapioca matchup?
No, the Vanilla Shadow Knight match.
Yeah, he got lethal with Inferno Dragon and Draconification.
Who?
I know. I don't know if you've been watching.
Hero main decks Inferno Dragon, which the only reason why I know this card was because of this episode. He's just an 8/8 vanilla dragon follower.
And Draconification, which is a card that's never been played yet.
He main decks this stuff. He just has it in the one matchup that gives Inferno Dragon Storm.
Yep. I mean, he does that a lot, Hero. Like, why else would he run this crap? He just plot contrivance.
This episode, you probably know this, but this episode, this season has a lot of different animation studios. Actually, there's a lot of outsourced episodes, like the Marcel episode.
There's that one episode that's really well animated for no reason.
Yeah, so there's several episodes in this season that are clearly done by a different studio, and some of them look really janky, like the My Name's Chef episode. But then there's that one episode. Okay, before we talk about that one episode, let's talk about the tag fights.
Yeah, the tag fights are so cool. So if you guys didn't know, in this season they introduced the idea of a 2v2 Shadowverse format where you have each player brings their own deck, but you share play points and health. That's so sick, dude. I wish that was real, man.
It's such a cool idea. And it's really good for developing the side characters, because our first tag fight was Mimori and Alice versus the Jobert sisters.
The hot criminals.
The hot criminals that played... they played PTP, Path to Purgatory, a real deck.
Yeah, they should have won.
Yeah, they tag teamed with a real deck. One of them played Shadow, one of them played Forest, right? So they had the perfect setup to abuse PTP. Mm-hmm. I mean, they lost because obviously the main characters have to win, but it was still a really cool fight.
I will say that fight was okay. I don't know if you've been looking at my Twitter when I've been reacting to this, but there's a There's a very specific card that they play to win that fight called Mana Elk, and that card was literally my buddy for like maybe like a little under a year, where I kept playing it for no reason just to see if it would work. So
yeah, I saw that, but who?
That's what I'm saying.
Who is this card?
Dude, whoever wrote this season, they watch my videos for sure, bro. They at least watched one. I know for sure that they watched one. And that's flattering.
Wait, don't give yourself too much credit, Igni, because that means that your inspiration is partially to blame for this season.
Well, just the decks! Just the decks! Just the decks!
just the decks.
Don't
not
shoot!
The writing, not the writing.
No. Well, shall I keep going through the fights? There's quite a few that we can talk about as we go through each one. Because, and also, it's a good test of my memory to see if I can go through each one.
Were there any, besides the good episode, were there any other tag fights, or was it just those two fights?
It was those two, Mimori and Alice, as well as Kazuki and Kai. Yeah, those were the only two.
The Kazuki and Kai fight, like that tag fight, went
that was
so
lit.
hard.
Yeah.
It went so hard for no reason at all. That's just a filler episode, where these two jobber side characters fight against two other jobbers, and yet somehow it's the coolest fight.
It's the best fight in the show, or in the series so far, yeah.
They put real Sakuga in this episode. The animation is so good for no reason. And the gameplay mechanics, bro, they play Dragon Song Flute.
Dude, there was literally a moment where Kai was like coughing, and it was like moving at like freaking 540 hertz. It was like, why'd the animation go so hard for Kai coughing? It's crazy.
And you probably realize this now, but the best episodes in this series are the episodes when Hero does not fight.
Yeah, that's true. Hiro, his battles are less exciting. I mentioned this on Twitter because I got some pushback for it, where it's like, why are you mad that the character uses the ace card? Well, it's not that he uses it, it's that he uses it literally every battle, you know? Like,
yeah, he uses it every single fight. And usually the other cards that he plays are cards to help bullshit the win with the same ace card every single fight.
Yep. Well, after the Tabayoka battle was the battle against Richie Rich, and Hiro beats her and is like, commoners are good actually, and she's like, oh, you're an exception, and it's like sort of set up that she got a crush on him.
You're one of the good ones.
I know, she's so awful. Anyway,
she's so awful, but she has the Ojo-sama laugh, so it's fine.
And then she like blushes at the end of the fight, and it's like, well, this is dumb. This is never going to be relevant ever again, I hope. and
then we never see her again for the rest of... Actually, do we? I don't remember.
And then on the other side, Mimori and Alice, they fight the Jobert sisters as we mentioned, and they win with Mana Elk plus Ghost combo against PTP. How embarrassing to lose with PTP in this format.
Embarrassing.
And then after that, Alice and Mimori fight each other. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I actually forgot about that. They fight each other after.
Alice wins because she's actually good at the game, and because she runs Skeleton Raider, the best card ever made.
Yeah. Skeleton Raider does not have the effect where it reduces cost every time you evo, but even just raw Skeleton Raider is still extremely good in this baby format. Against
Forest Fairies, dude, it's literally food for Raiders, so it's just like...
It's literally free real estate.
Yeah. And then after that, Kai and Kazuki fight the Jobber duo. We mentioned that earlier. And they win. That was a really sick fight, though, because one, we saw Dragon Song Flute, and we also saw a bunch of really cool stuff that I'm a big fan of. Like when Kazuki was like, I'll never ever give up, and then plays Albert, I actually was like, that made me feel something, dude.
Yeah.
That was
what's nice about this quarter is that they start playing actually cool cards like Albert, cards that people actually recognize and care about.
Yeah, that was really sick. And then what happened? Oh yeah,
I think that's
Seiya and the Jobber, the Forest Jobber, they win off screen, but then when they come on screen, they immediately lose. That's pretty funny.
I didn't even know Forest Jobber was in this arc.
No, he wins off screen and then immediately loses off when he's on screen to the Shadow Knight. That's pretty sick.
I remember almost everything about this season except for that guy. I thought he just showed up for like 2 episodes and that's it.
So then Hero fights the Shadow Knight, and he wins with Draconification, as mentioned earlier. A Who card that should not be in his deck, but he just has it. It's messed up. Every other character has an actual deck, and Hero just has whatever cards are convenient at the time, which is so annoying. And then, after that, Mauro comes up, I think, and Mauro's like, Hero, you're fucking annoying. And they fight.
Based.
So then Hiro randomly wins with a card called Dragon Ruin, which doesn't exist.
More like Dragon Ruin.
Yeah, it literally doesn't exist. It's literally there just to have exactly lethal against Mauro. And Mauro's like, well, fuck me, I guess. That sucks. And then Hiro is like, okay, I'll head to the central tower now, because there's clearly something sus about these Shadow Knights. And then Luke comes up and is like, I'm going to beat you and earn $5 billion for my sister. And Hiro is like, okay.
I really checked out around this area, even more so than usual, because I didn't really understand why Mauro and Lucia were fighting, like why even fight Hiro at this time. Aside from the fact that they need to have a rematch before their main.
They were already at
begins.
gold. It doesn't matter. Like they already made top cut.
it seems really forced having a rematch like that. It felt like they're just rematching just for the sake of rematching.
Well, I mean, I will say one thing. I do like that in this season they do some of the character development. Like Alice and Mimori get to know each other a little better. Kai and Kazuki get to know each other a little better. Hiro reaches Luca a bit. I'm fine with that. But it's just that the battle quality is just like, other than for everyone other than Hiro, it's fine. And then Hiro just has whatever cards are convenient to win, and it just feels like he's not running a real deck. It feels like Hiro's running literally whatever he can top deck that'll instantly win the game at that scenario.
I like that you have noticed that, because that's one of my main problems with Hiro as a protagonist in this season, where it's one thing for Hiro to have no personality. He's just Mr. Shadowverse Tanoshi guy. He's a dumbass kid that just likes the game, sure, whatever. That is boring, but what makes him even more boring as a TCG protagonist is that his deck is just so lame.
His deck doesn't exist. It's not real. He just has whatever cards is convenient. It's so...
Yeah, his Dragoncraft deck is so boring to watch, because it really is just Hiro pulling shit out of his ass.
Seriously.
There's no strategy. There's no deck building. He's not even playing any of the cards that Dragoncraft was known for at that time.
He's playing one.
Except
it was hype.
Except for that one moment where against Lucia, Hiro finally brings down a cool card. The Forte, the Dork Dragoon, shows up for one fight, and it was so hype.
Dude, I got chills, dude. When Forte came out of Dragon Emissary, I'm like, oh my god, I did that.
I know who that is. I actually like this card.
Yeah. That was sick. Anyway, that does not last, because Forte is only in the show for 10 seconds and then dies. And so does Spinaria. Also shows up for 10 seconds and then dies. You and I, kindred spirits in this way.
Spinaria mentioned.
Anyway, so they go to the central tower, as we mentioned, and then they fight the Shadow Knights once more. Everybody has a real deck except Hiro, who just bullshits everything. But Hiro fights Leon, and Leon's like, I have Genesis Artifact, which has 12 billion effects. What are you going to do about it? And then Hiro is like, what class is this? Portal Craft? I've never heard of this class.
But your card, what do you even do? Your cards are weird.
Yeah, he says your cards are weird. It makes no sense. And frankly... True. And this is when Spinaria's played, which is pretty hype.
Yeah, so once they finally get to the Genesis Corp Tower, this was when they revealed the world-ending bullshit. And hello, Portalcraft mentioned. This is a secret class that has the power of the Keepers or something like that.
Yeah, the Portalcraft class is like evil. It comes from the evil portal.
Always has been.
So Genesis Artifact in this game is much more this anime is more complicated than the game, and it just has 12 billion effects, and Hero's like, what do I do? Okay, Ignis Dragon, Piercing Roar, that's a combo we've seen before. That's real, that's fine.
Yeah,
he's allowed to play Ignis Dragon in a climactic fight. That's okay. And then the way what happens, how does he win again?
Crystal.
That's right.
he brings down the pendant, the Jo crystal.
Dude, they watch my videos for sure, bro.
Dude, that's my favorite fight. It's not even just because it's a protocraft fight, but just the fact that Hero actually does a legitimate combo to squeeze in lethal through an almost unbreakable game state was actually really fun. That
was cool, yeah. And it's Jo pendant. Here's what I don't like about it though. Jo pendant not in his deck ever before this point, so it does feel like an ass pull.
Yeah,
but it is fun to see like an actual real card be played for a lethal here.
See,
so
if Hero used Jo pendant for his other strategy in the future, that'd be one thing. But I'm pretty sure we never see Jo or even Forte ever again. I might be wrong there though, but
I'm serious though, dude. Jo, Mana Elk, dude.
Bro.
Shadowverse anime writers, you need any more deck ideas? You can reach me on Ignideus at Discord.
They specifically summoned Spinalia and animated her evolving just for me specifically.
Damn, that's so true.
I survived through the anime as it aired for that exact moment. That's what I'm on this planet for, was to watch Spinalia on screen.
Watch her die next turn.
Yeah.
Rip. That's pretty funny. You know, it's not even that of as much of a stretch, because I do know that some people at Side Games do watch my videos too. So
yeah.
It's like, oh boy. Not to actually, like, I'm half joking when I'm like, oh, I inspired it, but like, honestly,
but what if
there's a chance?
We've already seen some cheeky moments where we said a thing on the podcast and said thing just so happened to have happened. So, you know, who knows?
Coincidence?
Coincidence? I think not. So
anyway,
do you have any further thoughts on this season?
That was ass, dude. It was bad.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like I said, there were moments. Alice and Mimori episode was good. Kai and Kazuki episode was good. Every other episode was trash. Throw it away. But
it's ass, but at least there's actually some entertainment there now.
I will say the plot in the beginning was annoying, but then near the end it got so insane. I was just like, what the what's happening?
Yeah, it's getting goofy now, bro. You have no idea.
And I'm kind of excited for the third core now, because if it's this ridiculous, I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of down. Even if it's trash, I'll at least be like with a popcorn bowl, you know, and be like, what's gonna happen next? Let's see.
I've rewatched the first quarter several times, but I give up in this quarter because the first few filler episodes are so bad.
Yeah.
The My Name's Chef and the Ojo-sama episodes, I cannot do it.
That was really bad.
Tune out.
Yeah, it was trash. But I will say, when the actual card that we like comes down and it's like, they get a full animation, it's actually hype. When I saw Dragon Song Flute, I was like, oh my god. And I saw Albert, and I saw Albert come down, and I actually got goosebumps, dude. I was like, dude, that's my guy.
I just wish they started doing that sooner.
I know,
because
right?
There's so much that they could do in these Shadowverse fights that they're holding themselves back on purpose. I get that they're trying to save hype cards for later on, perhaps, but oh man, it's a real drag, and then suddenly they hit you with this shot of dopamine. I'm like, why can't we have more of this?
I know.
Why can't every episode have the quality of Kai and Kazuki?
Well, and that's because also, even though Kazuki's a goofy guy, he has a character, you know? Like, he's an earnest hard worker. He's trying to provide for his siblings. And even though he's happy-go-lucky as Hero is, but he actually does have a character. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. He's a dummy. He has no thoughts in his head, but yet he still somehow has more going for him than the actual main character himself.
There was like a glimmer of hope when Lucia was talking about his sister. And he was like, that my sister is the only thing in the world that matters to me. And Hiro was like, oh, like my grandpa to me. And I'm like, oh my God, a character trait. But then I remembered they literally show 0% of Hiro and his grandpa hanging out. So it's literally talent not showing. And I'm like, why? If you had established that Hiro only cares about two things, his grandpa and Shadowverse, that would make him interesting. And they kind of say that, but then that's not how he acts. It's like, come on.
That's an extremely good point. And that's a really good pivot to the next matter I want to discuss. Now that you've watched half of this season, you've actually seen most of the content or all the characters that are in Shadowverse Champions Battle. So now you can make an accurate comparison between Shadowverse Season 1 and the Champions Battle experience.
Hiro is so much better in Champions Battle, dude.
Hiro is so much better in Champions Battle.
Because he's still like a protagonist type character who's like, let's play Shadowverse, I'm having a good time. But there's this one arc in Shadowverse Champions Battle where Hiro is like, I'm going to stop playing Shadowverse. It's silly and I need to take care of my grandpa. And it's like, damn, that's real. That's a real that's like a real like conflict in him. And it's like, I care more about my grandpa than I do care about having fun. Like, he actually
cares. He actually has a struggle to go through in Champions Battle. You know, the story where he's not the main character. Hiro is so much more entertaining. They handle him so much better when he's not the central focus. There's actually a glimmer of something you can do with Hiro that they tapped into in Champions Battle. Granted, Champions Battle I assume was written after the anime. I don't exactly remember when the release was, but it's a different team of writers, right? But
I don't know. I have no clue. But
there's of course, Champions Battle being a video game, a story-based video game, there's a lot more content in there. They have a lot more time to develop the characters and all, but it's the fact they do nothing with Hiro in the actual show.
I mean, I'll say one thing. Champions Battle does not have the world-ending crisis thing. It's literally just about playing card games.
Yeah, but exactly.
Because the character interactions are so good, it's actually still more interesting. So, you know, and like Kagura's entire story was cool too. You know, Kagura. Who am I talking about? You know who I'm talking about.
Kaguya, the Prez Kaisho,
yeah. She was cool.
Even all the side characters, the jobbers, have a lot more content to work with in Champions Battle. You see a lot more of the Jo Bear sisters. My name's Chef, Ojo-sama.
Seiya is kind of a psychopath for some reason, like low-key. And that's interesting about him. He's not just like a smiling face. He's like kind of weird. I like that.
He's a villain main, so that checks out.
Anyway, yeah, I will say, and I should put a spoiler alert at the front. I will do that in post. But I'll also put a spoiler alert here for Card Fight Vanguard Divine Z for a protagonist that has a real deck. Like, the Rezael deck that Akina plays is real. And in the latest episode, spoilers, where he pulls out an ass pull card, it's foreshadowed because he met with Hikari, who could give him that card that she was playing. So it's not like it's from nowhere, you know? So
it's an ass pull, but it's a established ass pull though. Like
it's not an ass pull because it's lampshaded. That's exactly it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
which makes it not which is exactly why it's not an ass pull. Yeah.
Whereas with Hiro, he's just like, oh, my deck randomly runs Draconification for this exact scenario, and then I'll never draw it ever again outside of this scenario. And it's like,
okay, I'm gonna give you a light spoiler, Igni. There is gonna be a card or two that Hiro does receive, so it is a thing that is established, but it becomes those cards are such bullshit that it still does not improve the situation. Like, it still does not fix the problem. Well, it actually almost makes it worse.
Anyway, that's like my counter example. You know, Akina, he's a pro tag and he has a real deck, not just a collection of whatever's convenient. So that's what I would like to see improved, but we'll see. I heard from Different Fight, he commented, he was like, dude, it actually gets way worse from here. And I'm like, oh no.
I think Chris said that this is the worst arc he's ever seen in all of TCG anime or something, which
Yep.
I don't know if I'd go that far because the writing is so bad. It probably does have the worst writing out of everything I've watched, but it's hilariously bad.
Well, I'm excited. It's like
gonna
The
be
Room,
so
you know? It's like
entertaining.
Talking
Yeah.
Cat. It's like, what's going
It's
on?
baffling. You have no idea, Igni, what you're getting yourself into.
I will soon, so.
You've only just finished the tutorial level.
I'm halfway through. And then after this, I can finally watch the good show when I'm done.
Man. You're gonna see what I mean by watching season 1 really makes you appreciate how they improved in season 2. Like you'll see exactly what I mean when you get there.
Well, I mean, I kind of got a similar experience going, the backwards experience going from Divines to Overdress.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, so I'm gonna get the forwards experience when I watch Shadowverse, I suppose. So,
Yeah. The proper experience, the one that the real ones had to live through.
Well, I will say this. Even though Hero, he's kind of lame as a character, I think it's genius what they did in Flame, making him like a side character, because it's fine to have an OP side character. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. They did a Pokemon Gold and Silver where they took the main pro tag and turned him into like a thing that now the new pro tag has to overcome.
And there is like a sliver of Hero where I'm like, there's something there that I can hold on to. His attachment to Lucia, his attachment to his grandpa. When are they ever going to show it? Who knows? Maybe never. But we'll see. I will say, though, I'm actually going on a flight tomorrow back to Indonesia. So I'll have time. I'll just like blitz through the entire second half of the season, and then we can talk about it next time.
I don't know if your brain will be able to process the entire second half. I think your brain will turn into mush if you try to do the entire thing.
I'll literally have nothing else to do. So it's either that or staring at a black screen. So here we go.
By the way, you know what's funny? We talked about how Hero is so much better written in Challenge Battle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else Hero is better written in?
What?
Do you remember? Did you know that?
Are you gonna talk about Grand Blue Fantasy?
Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy, the mobile game, not Relink obviously, but the mobile game, the regular one. They had a Shadowverse anime collab.
I remember. Yeah.
And I actually read and played through the collab story, and Hero isn't even bad in there either, because Hero actually loses, and there's actual stakes in that story. It's still kind of goofy and dumb, but there's actually something there that is so much better than whatever the hell they try to do in the anime. It's pretty embarrassing.
I think it'd be forgivable. Like the Hero never losing thing, that'd be forgivable if he was a real character. Yeah. But he's not. So that sucks. Anyway.
To make a comparison with a show that almost nobody watched or cared about, Future Card Buddy Fight.
Oh yeah.
Because the Buddy Fight protagonist, Gal Mikado, he almost never ever lost ever, and yet he was still an alright protagonist because he still has struggles and conflict with himself and other characters to an extent. Buddy Fight was still mostly just a silly children's cartoon show, but it still somehow was so much better than whatever Shadowverse is trying to do.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've watched it, but didn't Yusei also barely lose? But he was cool.
I did not actually watch 5Ds somehow. Yeah. I never got around to it. I need to at some point. I call myself a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but I haven't watched a bunch of the anime.
I watched 5Ds when I was a little baby boy, but I don't remember him losing very much. And I'm like, yeah, he was still awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, I was a GX boy. I watched through GX almost entirely and kind of fell off until I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh properly and watched Arc V, which is the Pendulum era, and it started off really good. It started off really good until it wasn't.
Well. Any final thoughts on Core 2 of Shadowverse so we can wrap the main topic up? It's I hope it gets either better or much worse to the point where it's entertaining from here. Is what I'm asking for.
Oh man, I can't wait.
We'll be back next time after my flight, and we'll be like, Well, first of all, my brain will be leaking out my ears, and you'll be like, "Hey, Igni, how'd you think about the anime?" And I'll be like, "Oh." Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of the anime, our question of the week last week was also related to the anime, where we asked, have you seen Shadowverse Anime Season 1? If not, why not? If so, what did you think? And we have our first write-in here from Lord Kaelan. Hey! You're supposed to be on this show. He says, I watched the first 4 episodes week to week, but then I quit and waited for a dub, and then he posted the gif of Matt Damon rapidly aging.
I'm not surprised that Shadowverse Season 1 never got a dub because the show was bad and no one cared. But I was shocked that they gave Champions Battle a full dub.
Yeah, and the Champions Battle cast is really good. Like, didn't they get Tartaglia's voice actor to voice Hero? Yeah,
they actually got a banger cast.
And wasn't Koi Tao really Maro Abelard in that game?
Yeah, and they got Sean Chiplock, which is the voice of Baphomet, as wait, was that Kai? Wait, no. no, Kai was Joe. I always forget his last name, but Joe, the one that voices Rowan.
Josija.
Yeah, voices Rowan, voices Claude from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I almost said Fire Emblem Heroes, a gacha game.
And also Sean Chiplock voices D-Luke, we should say.
That's Sean Chiplock. Wait, who? I think Sean does. Wait, did he voice Kai?
Let's not get into the minutia of it, but like basically it's an all-star voice actor cast, and it's like it's so good. And I just wish that they actually did a dub. That'd have been nice. Also, after being spoiled by like Vanguard being on the official channel on the same release day with subs, I'm like, every card game anime should do this. I mean, Shadowverse anime is on YouTube, but it doesn't have official subs, and it's only in Japan. And I'm like, I wish it was more accessible.
Well, the old episodes.
Yeah.
So I think they do have the old episodes in Japanese, but not with subs.
Flame is on YouTube too, but only if you're in Japan. Yeah.
Oh, I thought talking about Vanguard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that like Vanguard right now is releasing the anime on time with subs like on the day, whereas you have to VPN into Japan to watch Flame and there's no subs.
And Vanguard even does the dub the season after that as well too.
Yeah,
so you don't even have to wait that long for the dub.
I just wish that we had that. I just wish that we as Shadowverse had that. Anyway, next write-in is from Happy Jet Machine, who says, no, I skipped straight to Flame and didn't regret it for 1 second. Even when characters appear from Season 1, I feel like they're easy enough to understand without the additional context.
I will say that is true up to a certain point.
It's like one of those things where if you watched the original, you can appreciate some like details more, right? Kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah. But there reaches a point in Shadowverse Flame where they make a lot of references to Season 1. So it does, you do get a bit lost sometimes in the later half. It becomes harder to ignore over time.
Okay, well, I mean, it's good that I'm watching it then, I guess.
I do think most Shadowverse players will still kind of get it just through osmosis. Like, you've seen enough content from the main game to kind of put the pieces together, I'd say. So
yeah, context clues, right?
There was something valuable to sitting through Season 1, though, I'd say.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm doing it. I'm here to be the completionist, so let's go. Now over on
full experience.
Yeah, exactly. If I didn't get the full experience, I wouldn't be able to appreciate it when it actually became good, you know? Sometimes you gotta get hit in the nuts to come, as they say. I just made up that saying just now. I don't think anybody's ever said that.
Zeus. I mean, I'm gonna start saying that now.
Anyway, over on Discord, Mock wrote, I watched about 10 episodes, but I probably should have quit sooner. Hiro is trying way too hard to sell the game instead of being a compelling character. That's a good point, actually. It's like
exactly.
It is an ad, but like you gotta be a little more subtle about it. I don't buy that any of the other cast members would actually be drawn to his crew if the plot didn't compel them to. I can excuse some lackluster plots if the cast is fun to watch, but having such a charisma vacuum for a main character is only tolerable for so long. The other characters seemed like they had some potential, but I couldn't will myself to stick around long enough to see what they would do with them. Exactly!
Yeah,
Kazuki Kai, based. Mimori Alice, based. Then Hiro shows up and I'm like, when you're alone, you're intolerable. When you're with Luca, I'm like, okay, fine. but don't ever be alone because you're so annoying.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way of putting it, where there's stuff that's not so bad about Shadowverse Season 1, but Hero having so little charisma, it just bogs down the entire experience and makes it almost unwatchable.
He's not a character, he's like a sponsor spot, bro. It's the problem.
Yeah, and also, that's a good point that he made, where it seems like he's just trying so hard to sell the game to you, the viewer. Oh, Shadowverse is so fun, haha, Tanoshi. He keeps saying that Shadowverse is He keeps saying that Shadowverse is fun, but they aren't really doing anything to show how it's fun though. Because from Hero's perspective, we don't get to see any strategy or interactions that make Shadowverse look interesting. He just has the card and wins with the card. It's just that easy.
Yeah, if he actually loved Shadowverse, they'd show us him like deck building and stuff. But
yeah.
I feel like he's just using the deck his dad gave him, frankly.
It's also a missed opportunity having him never lose, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm having so much fun because I'm winning. But it would be a lot more powerful if he lost a couple of times and yet he's still having fun.
I think
never gives up.
We said that literally exact same thing last week.
Oh, did we actually?
Yeah. All right, and finally let's just say that's becoming more and more apparent the more that you watch. Yeah, for sure. I hear you. And finally on YouTube we have True 23 Volt, who said, I wanted to be the guy who powered through the anime when it was airing. I enjoyed understanding the actual card game in a TCG anime for once, but then Hiro showed up. I couldn't stand him, sorry. Which is funny because Hiro shows up in the first frame of the first episode. So.
Yeah, that means he didn't even last 2 seconds.
He quit immediately. All right.
Were there no answers saying people that actually did sit through season 1? Am I the only one?
No, people did, but they came in a little late, like after I already assembled the doc.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So I don't have the names of them right now, but people did say, oh, I liked this anime, it was fine, like the story was mid, but I enjoyed the fights or whatever. And then there's like some people who are like really into it, and they're like, I don't play Shadowverse or Champions Battle or Evolve, but I would give up all of my mortal possessions for Mauro Abelard. And I'm like, oh damn, this anime got fans.
Based, it actually is interesting because there are a decent amount of people that got into Shadowverse through the anime.
But I feel like they didn't convert into the actual game. They just liked the anime.
Yeah. A good amount of them watched it, but maybe didn't stick around. Especially at the time, they didn't even have the anime cards in the actual game either.
That was a huge fumble. Yeah,
it was such a missed opportunity. Do you remember during that time when the anime was airing, they didn't even advertise the anime at all in the actual game?
Not only that, but like Dawn of Calamity took like what 9 months later to come out into the game or something like that, and it's like
Dawn of Calamity took a long time to come out. We did get the Shadowverse anime leaders before that, I think, but those weren't because of the anime. Those were for Champions Battle.
And then not only that, but also like 2v2 isn't in the game. A bunch of the cards, even in Dawn of Calamity, didn't make it into the game either. And it's like, imagine like little Timmy, not Timmy, little Sato watching the anime on his TV, and then he downloads Shadowverse on his phone, and like Ignis Dragon's not there. Bro, I'd throw the phone out the window, bro.
They weren't doing themselves any favors.
Yes, I would say that. And also, like, I mean, honestly, let's be real with ourselves. Shadowverse has had a few big whiffs over time.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them. Like that. Miku, which I'm still mad about.
Yeah.
Etc. Well, I will say though, despite all of its downfalls and shortcomings, that the anime did have moments, like when Albert showed up, goosebumps, when Forte showed up, oh my god, when there was actually character development. This is sick. So this leads into the next week's question. If you are going to watch the anime, what card would you want to see animated, like in an anime? Let us know in the comments down below. I feel like for me, the answer is obvious. If Zernitra shows up in this season 1 of this anime, I will forgive it of all of its sins.
I already had my dream card show up. I actually wonder. I do wonder if there are any viewers that were willing to give the anime a shot now because you've started watching it.
No, there were people who were saying like you talking about it makes me want to watch it, and I'm like, well, that's fun.
Man.
Well, you know what they say, right? Misery loves company. It's one thing if you're watching it alone, but now you can share your experiences with me. I'll be your sin eater for today as you watch the Shadowverse anime.
If there are any brave souls that are watching the anime right now, please share the misery in the comments. I want to see you guys go off.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I know that I saw some comments where like, I'm watching it along with you right now, and I'm like, why? I didn't ask you to do that.
Big mistake,
it's
buddy.
fun. It is fun. Well, that's it for this episode. Any final thoughts you got there, Tonkas?
I have 0 thoughts in my head.
Yeah, that's gonna be me after my flight, bro. After watching the entire last 24 episodes, I'm gonna be like, what?
Okay, I actually might have to rewatch this quarter for real, because this half of the anime was total mush to me. So I might need to properly remind myself of the
what quarter 3 and quarter 4.
Yeah.
All right, Tonko, it's time. Let's watch the show.
Oh man, can't wait.
Yep. Well, guys, you can find this podcast over on Spotify. By the way, Tonko, after last episode where I said that does anybody listen to this damn show on Spotify, somebody in the comments was like, I do. Thank you, nice. You brave souls, for putting the effort into putting it on Spotify. How heartwarming.
The Spotify gamers, thank you.
As usual, we're on this channel, YouTube, Ignideus, but also Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all the places. Well, most of the places. I think Google is shutting down their podcast service, so RIP. But
I didn't even know Google had a podcast service.
Well, it's not relevant anymore.
Hey, how about instead of shouting out the Spotify users this time, do any of you guys listen to Amazon Music? Is there even a single soul that actually uses Amazon Music? Let me know.
I cannot imagine. Like, who? Well, no, maybe because some people have Amazon for like Kindle and stuff, right? Maybe they got it for that.
I mean, I have Amazon Prime, and I don't even think about Amazon Music.
Well, if you are from Amazon, if you're an Amazon Andy, shout out in the comments, man. I want to see you exist. All right. Well, you can find Tonko at Twitch and on YouTube. Links in the description. And you can find me in the same places, basically. Yay.
Yippee.
How do we end this podcast again? I feel so lost without Kaelan.
Bye. Just turn it off.
Yeah, just end the recording midway, like half.